and it is because the bits of the brain that there's two different systems that regulate wake and sleep, and it's the same parts of the brain that are affected in the scar.
Any other questions?
In Mediterranean countries, obviously we have siestas. Often they go to sleep for a couple of hours, and it's like millions of people.
Yep.
Are they sort of in tune with the climate or something else?
It works because the whole society does it, and it works because they also, they stop for 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon, but only expect to sleep for 5 or 6 hours at night. When people come to Australia and try and replicate that, they'll still go to bed at 9 o'clock at night and not going to be up till 7 in the morning, and you just can't sleep that night. And then it doesn't work, they can't get to sleep, they're waking at night, they don't sleep well in the day, the phone rings during the day because the society hasn't stopped for those hours. So it absolutely fits from the biology's point of view, because whilst the circadian rhythm's good at keeping you propped up for 16 hours of wakefulness and then let you sleep for 8, you can help it along a bit. If 8 or 9 hours into the day you have a bit of a nap to burn off a bit of sleep debt, and then you get through the second half of the day a bit better, that all works nicely from a biological point of view. But everybody's got to be doing it together. If only a couple of people try to do it, and the world's not going like that, it doesn't.
And just on that point, what is considered a good nap time, length of time? Because some people say more than 20 minutes and it's too long.
It depends on the purpose of the nap. So if the purpose of the nap is that you've got to drive for 4 hours and you want to drive for 2 and have a short nap and then keep driving for another 2, then it's got to be a short nap, 15-minute nap. Because if you get into deep or slow wave sleep, then it takes you quite a long time to wake from that. You feel pretty average when you wake up from that. We all know, Saturday afternoon you sleep for 45 minutes on the couch, you get up, you feel pretty average for 3 or 4 hours afterwards. And you don't want to be doing that for the second 2 hours that you're driving. So if it's a power nap while you're driving, that's for less than 20 minutes. And that's the usual public health message about naps, is all about things like driving or being safe at work. So you'll keep hearing that less than 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. Now if the problem is that you've got a sleepiness condition, scar, for example, where you're just flat out sleepy, then a longer nap may well be what you need. You may well need to be awake for 4 or 5 hours and then need a 2 or 3 hour sleep, and then another 4 or 5 hours, rather than just a power nap.
Well, I find that I sleep better in heat. Is that anything to do with the hormones my brain releases to cool me down? Or?
I don't know, to be honest. And it goes a bit both ways. In general, though, people, I've got more experience in people with MS than scar in terms of heat and things with sleep. People with MS definitely, when it gets hot, they get sleepy. I suspect that when people with scar get hot, they should get more sleepy, but I don't know.
Yeah. And another thing, I'll get leg cramps, and I find I get them when I don't do any activity during the day.
Yeah.
But because they call me to wake up, is that any sort of disorder?
So I haven't talked about leg cramps. I talked about the twitchy sort of leg movements, but often the twitchy leg movements and the leg cramps go together. So often the twitchy movements at night aren't something that you would notice, for example, or a patient would notice. It's something the bed partner complains about. But the patient sometimes just complains, I wake up, or I wake with cramps. And usually, cramps are better the more activity there is, or putting, stretch, relax the muscles, and usually reduce the amount of both of leg movements at night and the amount of cramps.
And also, I find my teeth, I know that's probably nothing to do with sleep disorders, but is that somehow going to my airways being blocked up?
It can. So about 50% of people with sleep apnea or breathing problems during sleep will grind, because when you get that subtle disruption of sleep and the brain saying, hey, it's not right, what's going on, and there's got to be muscle contraction. The same way you get muscle contraction here, you get muscle contraction in the muscles here, which are the ones that do with clenching and grinding. So there can be that subtle disruption of sleep can be a trigger for clenching and grinding.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question,
Sure.
actually, Doctor. The people where the circadian rhythm has been completely destroyed almost,
Yeah.
they sleep all day, they wake up at night and they sleep through the whole night and then they fall asleep sometime in the morning again.
Yeah.
How can you overcome that? I've got a son like that, you see.
Yeah, so it's usually they actually have a rhythm. So the fact that there's sleep at one point that's fairly continuous and awake at some point that's fairly continuous means there's a rhythm there,
Yeah.
but it's in the wrong phase. It's the wrong time zone or the wrong synchronisation.
Yeah.
So it is like jet lag. Now you
Yeah.
can actually treat that in the same way that you treat jet lag, by using sleep scheduling is one way where you map out a schedule of, okay, you've got to expose yourself to light and activity at certain times. But it is a bit like fighting against the tide, particularly at some stages in life. Adolescence and early adult years, 20s and early 20s, is a very common time when this just occurs biologically. And unless there's something at that time where you have to get out of bed every day for a particular activity, the body will tend to drift out.
Yeah.
There's also a time in life where one of the features of adolescence is being able to choose what time you go to sleep. Not what time you're sent to your bedroom, but what time you go to sleep. You can send a teenager to their bedroom, but they'll choose to go to sleep when they like, and they pretty quickly learn that's something they now have control over.
Yeah.
So you get this interaction of trying to stake their ground as this is something I have control over that you as a parent don't have control over, with the biology that feeds into it. And it's a very common thing at that stage in life. Now later in life, in 20s, 30s and 40s, this can happen too.
Yeah.
But it's often the most common times I'll see it is sometimes medications can push it out, or just loss of routine. There's not a routine that sort of forces somebody to be up at a certain time every day. Very common things I see with pain problems. They find it difficult to sleep at night, finally get to sleep and will then sleep in to try and compensate, and then gradually just